Welcome to Campo Rico, the podcast with Pedro Martinez and Rosemary Mel. Three, two, one, and welcome to another episode. And we're losing track of the episodes. And let me take this off. There we go. Now I can talk better. Feels weird when I'm listening to my voice with a delay, so I feel like. All right, guys. So another week has gone by. We haven't done a podcast since last week. We're gonna try to stick once a week, and little by little increase. We're doing a couple of things this week, especially with the kids having
they had a busy
appointments
schedule.
and just working a little bit on the house. Haven't done much, but we're in a pandemic, so we're not trying to do too much. So we have officially entered the fall season. It's getting a little cooler at night, early in the mornings. It's nice to
Oh yeah, it's like
get.
perfect right now.
However, it's still hot during the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a 95 at the airport on 2 days ago, which actually broke record. It was 94. But all these records, I don't know, so weird because things seems to be happening in a
It's a
cyclical.
cycle. Yeah, it's a cycle.
Or at least, if you go way back, it hasn't happened since, 1914 or whatever, I said, wait a second. So that means it happened before. So it's not really a new thing. So
Yeah, I guess in our lifetime they mean.
that could be
Yeah,
it.
in our lifetime.
With that, we are probably just a little bit over a month for our Christmas season to start here in Puerto Rico. We start Christmas on November 1st.
I know. At first, it was the weirdest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody starts to decorate their house and start painting, and Christmas songs are playing on the radio in November. It's so weird. It's like a mindset of everybody switches.
Right, and I think we all getting ready for Black Friday and it's Thanksgiving and Black Friday. That's about it. Halloween, I don't think it's as strong as in the U.S. The U.S. is a big thing. Here, obviously, Halloween is okay. It's not really as strong,
Yeah, it's not
especially with all the
emphasized.
crime, with all the pandemic. I don't think it's gonna be even anything this year. But definitely, Thanksgiving is one of the biggest holidays after Mother's Day, followed by Christmas. So yeah, we're feeling the Christmas airs, the coolness of Christmas, and pretty soon the radios are gonna start pumping Christmas
Christmas
carols
songs.
and all that. So
I know all of our friends are giving us like a little nudge and an eye to see what we're doing for Thanksgiving.
well, we might have anything other than turkey, pork maybe,
Oh,
lechon
God.
or something like that. We gotta figure something out.
Asians don't do. We're gonna make this an Asian Thanksgiving. I'm cooking, so
Okay,
it's gonna be an Asian Thanksgiving.
so that would be great.
Had to find a duck.
So with the season, as we approach in October, we're getting mangoes, avocados. Obviously, we don't have pana here yet, but we're getting a lot of fruits out there. We got cerola, which is those wild cherries.
Oh, all these plants we grew from seed. Do you know how patient you have to be just to wait and see them grow?
Like what, between 3 and 6 years?
Oh my god. I mean, let's see. The mango just sprouted. Just sprouted a fruit. So how long is it? Like 6 years. That's
Yeah,
6
6
years.
years.
Avocado is the same thing. Acerola, the same thing. The pana was like 5.5 years.
Okay, and
Well,
pana is a
pepino.
breadfruit. Yeah, the
Yeah.
breadfruit. We do have breadfruit, different kind, the ones that has those seeds inside. And I know that I was reading some of the comments. People are confusing. I was confusing as well. Durian with jackfruit with pana. Somebody said, yeah, the durian. No, the jackfruit. It's like a different kind of pana. I said, no.
No.
This is a fruit. It's not a vegetable. It's totally different. But I even posted a link to the difference. Somebody laid out on the floor, different type, the breadfruit, the one with the seeds inside, the guanábana, and the jackfruit. The jackfruit is the largest by by a big margin.
There's the
Obviously,
most
there wasn't a
delicious.
durian, so yeah. So we're getting there. Granted, talking to the local agriculture experts, there are ways to actually make the mango start giving out fruit within a year. However, those are artificial ways to do things. I mean, there's some techniques that they use, especially in other countries like Congo, Africa. We were talking to our
Oh
friend
yeah.
Oscar, his sons.
Oh
It's basically
yeah.
when you start slicing a tree and
Oh
splicing
yeah,
it,
you're
or I don't.
propagating
Yeah,
it.
they're basically
Yeah.
propagating. There are different ways to do that, but we're doing things here just naturally. We just do seedlings and then plant them on the ground, and they get water if it rains. If it doesn't rain, then they die.
You just gotta get thirsty for a little bit.
Alrighty. So we are growing as we go with this podcast. One of the things that somebody suggested was, hey, talk a little bit of things that affect Puerto Rico, especially since we know we have a big diaspora. Basically Puerto Ricans living in the states that are watching the videos, watching the podcast. Which, by the way, we are on SoundCloud, we're on Spotify, and you can find us on iTunes and a couple others. I think I just set that up yesterday. They said within 24 hours. I already saw the clips within iTunes. So basically, if you are not doing anything and want to get bored a little bit, just listen to our podcast, us rambling about anything and everything.
Listening to our soothing voices as you garden or
Yes.
something.
Hey. All right. So, and talking about soothing voices, and I'm kind of jumping all over here, and I'm gonna get to those little topics that we wrote down. But your car broke down this week, and I want you to elaborate on that because you were going to one of the appointments with the kids, and all of a sudden the car just stopped working in the middle of the road, a busy road, by the way.
Oh my
And
god.
what happened?
In a busy time. Okay, so I'm a little bit naive when it comes to the car or flashing lights in the car, and sometimes I'm like, well, maybe it's a malfunction. So the battery like was flashing as I was on the road. I texted Pedro. I was like, should I be worried about this light? I think it's okay. And so I just kept going. And right in the middle of an intersection, there's a really busy intersection where there's an outlet mall on one side and there's Walmart in the front. And since it's right off the interstate, just people, it was like a busy time. And all of a sudden the air conditioner goes off and the engine stops, and I'm sitting there like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh my god, the kids. Okay, they were sleeping, they fell asleep. And when I pressed on the gas, nothing happened. Nothing. So I turned off the car, put it in park, and started like trying to turn it on. It was like, and I was like, it's the battery.
How was it?
That's how it sounded to me.
Okay. Nice. And so then what happened?
Oh
I mean,
my god, I was about to cry, but I was just like, you know what? Let's just do this. And Puerto Ricans are they're very understanding when it comes to a car breaking down in the middle of the road because there are a lot of lemons here. So I guess it happens often. And a lot of people do keep towing equipment or extra tools in the car to make sure that they are able to help others if need be. And thankfully, this couple, I guess they just out of the kindness of their heart just stopped and was like, we have a tow rope and we can help you, so let's tow you over here so you'll be a safe place. And they hooked up the car, and they were bilingual. And helped us. But coincidentally, they also listened to this podcast, and the only reason that they really stopped was because they recognized the car. And
right. And yeah, and I'm talking to Rafa and Alex, by the way. Hi,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So Rafael and Alex, funny part is they also used to live in Virginia, and they moved here just a few weeks ago. So they bought a house nearby on the other side of the mountain, here in Rio Grande. And one of the things I had mentioned is that, yeah, you have an intro in some of the videos that you have posted, and I know Puerto Rico really well, so I recognize the car and say, look, that's the car, and I think that's the girl. And he said, I don't know her name, but all I know is that when the video start, there's a guy called, I am Pedro Martinez. So that's the thing that he
They
remembered.
recognize your deep
He
voice.
said, I don't know your name, but I know your husband is Pedro Martinez. So, but thankfully that was good. So we pulled over to the Walmart parking lot,
Lifesavers.
and I was able to get there with another friend, Rafa as well,
Rafa.
the same name, and bought a battery, at the store, and got the alternator taken out, and right now, which is by the way another thing, Puerto Rico since the pandemic, and because a local law that forces stores, especially big stores, basically to pay taxes for inventory, meaning that if they have that inventory at the store for 30 days, they have to pay taxes. So what they're doing now is they have limited supplies and they're ordering things, and things are getting delayed. So the alternator that perhaps a year ago I could have just picked one up and that's it and swap it for a new one, now it's taking a week just to arrive because it's coming from Atlanta. So there's one thing that I meant to mention, because there's a few people that are talking about, hey, why is everything empty? We go Home Depot, they only have the bare minimum. Go to Walmart, go to the big
that's
stores,
right.
even Costco. They have the big ticket items, but other things, they're a refrain from actually maintaining a big storage of that. Because again, if it goes beyond 30 days and that's still on the shelf or on the warehouse, they're gonna be retaxed for that. Which is
Yeah, I
one of the
think
things that needs to change here locally on the island.
I think it's big on like if you need to buy big appliances, it's a real pain. Like if you need a refrigerator, if one went bad and you have to get a new one, then you'd have to wait for a shipment of a new refrigerator to come. So what are you gonna do with the food? What are you gonna do? Or or if a new stove, it's it's really a painful process if you have to go through
It
it.
is a painful process. So they were able to help us out. We actually invited them over the other day, Rafa and Alex. Again, guys, I appreciate it for the help. But I'll do the same. If you guys are here, get stuck, and cross path, we'll be happy to.
We have tow ropes, we
We
have
got tow ropes,
charging cables, we have tools, we're ready
We
to
got
help
beer
someone.
too, so that will help out.
And a cold beer just to wait.
All right. In talking to them and other expats, folks that have relocated to the island, one of the common things that have come up is this thing about homeschooling, which is funny because homeschooling in the state was something that was looked down upon, meaning that, oh, you're homeschool. Someone's like, oh, hey, okay, you're one of those. Same thing here. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're one of the weirdos, or something like that. But funny part is that even now, schools like Harvard and every other, elite colleges, they're doing these online things. It's technically
basically
online. So expats coming here, they have chosen, not because they're moving to Puerto Rico, it's because there seems to be a trend that they've been doing it for a while. They move to Puerto Rico, and it's an easy transition for the kids because, they have their own curriculum. They don't have to be waiting on school year or doing all the painful process that goes along with, registering new kids here in Puerto Rico and adjusting it, and having a school system that sucks is really not tailored to those bilingual kids coming in on the public school. So it was interesting to read about that, and that's why I was asking you, hey, I know you have looked into it because our oldest, was homeschooled in Virginia. And how does it work here? I mean, how does homeschooling work here as a whole? If somebody's going to move in and they have small kids, let's say between ages 5 and 12, I mean, what are the steps? Is there any regulatory requirements? Is anything free for all? How does it work?
I think when we were doing our oldest, that was a little bit more cumbersome rather than having them when they were young. Like we're starting our kids on a homeschooling program. I will be.
The small ones?
Yeah, the small ones. We're going to start them on a homeschooling program. And you have to read the laws. Fortunately, in Puerto Rico, the laws are very lenient when it comes to homeschool. So there's no really set regulatories when it comes to that. So you don't have to do like annual testing to see where they're at and blah blah blah. It's up to the teacher, and the teacher does not have to be certified. So well, per se in Virginia, you have to be a certified teacher or a certified tutor and to be able to homeschool. But here in Puerto Rico, there are no regulations on that. So, you're able as a mother, or
As a
as an
parent.
outside, or as a parent, you're able to be creative with the menu when it
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
All right. So everybody knows that we're recording. So let's go ahead and pick that up really quick.
So as a parent, it's really easy for you to be able to control the curriculum your child has. And online, there's online curriculums. There's also books that you could purchase, programs that you could purchase at a very affordable price versus the private schools here, which almost do the same. It's like a homeschool based. And so they do follow a curriculum that, based on an outside program. And they have, their teachers that monitor your children, but yet at home they do the bulk of the work. So that's just for a social aspect of it. But then you pay $3,000 or $2,000 a month
Or a babysitter.
for a glorified babysitter basically. But they get to interact with other kids, and there's also field trips that you could go to, learning activities, museums. So there's that aspect of it. But is a growing community here for homeschooling families, and so you could connect. There's actually something online for Puerto Rican families to connect, and for those who live close by, they do arrange. So then you could get together and do the same thing as these schools are doing. It's just, you're doing it on your own, but that's the freedom you have with the homeschooling.
Right. And for accepting into college, as long as they pass the same test, the SATs or whatever it is, I
Oh,
mean, that's all
yeah.
it is, pretty much. As long as you got.
Well, that's true. Oh, and well, I was saying when it comes to Peter, our oldest child, when it came to homeschooling, we did have to keep a curriculum of his high school classes and a progression.
Okay.
Not a curriculum, I'm sorry. It's like a transcript. So I had to keep a transcript to see where I thought he was at within his programs of of his high school history or whatever, to make sure that when he did go into a college and they required a transcript, then I could provide that. And they do have templates and stuff online, but you didn't have to have a standardized test for those who are homeschooled. And it's basically just doing the SATs or the College Board and
Okay.
then getting in.
Cool. And he did great, which, that was good because we didn't have to pay on the private college the first semester or first year.
Oh yeah, there
So it was
was a scholarship
convenient.
for him.
Right,
That
just
was really
because
nice.
the how high he scored on the SATs. So, but it was good. So again, homeschooling is a definitely good option, and in reality now with the whole pandemic,
It's a norm. It's
it's
becoming
pretty
a
much
norm.
now everybody's doing online virtual classes. So with the parent next to them, so it's basically homeschooling just with somebody that's guiding them. So again, it's just how the pandemic has turned things around. Um, Expats seems to be coming here for better quality of life. They eat better, they breathe better, regardless of the political side of things, the socioeconomic things, and they feel like they're getting a bargain coming in here. They feel more relaxed, and that's what I think has been a growing number of English speakers, expats, arriving to the island, which is we welcome them. It's neat to see. I think every country goes through that. This time it's Puerto Rico. I guess with all the nonsense that we're hearing and reading about on the main line, people are feeling that we need to get to a location where we are away from all that to a certain extent. We can go off the grid if we wanted to and still enjoy beautiful beaches and nice mountains, great food, and certain aspects are still cheaper. Obviously, things have electronics, cars, and things like that. We pay a little premium because the shipping, because all the different laws that are
Oh,
imposes
yeah.
taxes on us. However, food, relatively speaking, is cheap and uh, it can not be healthy as well. If you like fried food, this will be a great
Yeah.
island to be in because the locals love fried food. Fried anything.
Yeah, I don't know. If you fry a shoe, they'd probably like, I want to taste that.
Well, a little bit of adobo. That would work. All right. So, again, going back to the suggestions, really quick, I'm gonna give you some the top topics of the or subjects or headlines of the week. Trump administration has announced um, $13 billion in aid for Puerto Rico, and I must say that this is
That's
actually
amazing.
well, this is actually part of FEMA. This was
Oh,
supposed to be
yeah.
released a year ago, but let's be honest. If you would have given the previous governor $13 billion, it would have been gone by now.
God, he would have pocketed like a third of that.
They are corrupted, and still there's a lot of corruption. So I'm hoping that that 13 billion in aid for Puerto Rico will get to the right place. FEMA has also committed to invest $2.6 million to strengthen the Puerto Rico agriculture industry, which was
Ah,
very
that's awesome.
right, so very affected here on the island due to multiple Irma, Maria earthquakes, and Isaac, or Isaias, the hurricanes.
Uh-huh.
So it has been, 3 years of, really decay in
Of
the
farming.
local agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 41 towns in Puerto Rico among the recipient of another $91.4 million, and this is also in FEMA grants. Again, this is separate. It's not all part of the $13 billion. That's basically to get historic sites and main roads that are really destroyed, especially in the middle of the island. Those towns still have broken roads with big ass
Potholes.
potholes and the some other structure for the ones I see on the screen is basically in Vieques. That's basically the lighthouse is used by the local
Oh,
fishermen to be able
yeah.
to know where they are. So thankfully we have GPS, but the lighthouse is very important, especially during
Mm.
storms and where GPS may not be working or they don't even have GPS. Talking about fishermen leveraging lighthouses, so that's important for them in that area. And
Mm-hmm.
finally, um, according to Abexus, this is a company that does surveys,
Mm-hmm.
they're claiming that 100% of Puerto Ricans have internet coverage. I don't know. I don't know if
I don't think so.
I don't know if I should be able to believe that. I mean, I know friends that don't have internet. I mean, mobile devices, yes, you can, to a
Oh,
certain
yeah, with
extent,
mobile
yeah, with
devices.
mobile
But
devices.
then there's like holes around
There are
that.
pockets, yeah, that just don't
Yeah,
even
that
have
you just.
coverages. Maybe have bars. Sometimes you don't even have coverage. So I don't know where the information is coming from, but this is what they're claiming. And you have asked for, hey, how's Puerto Rico doing with coronavirus? Well, we have something here. So according to El Nuevo Dia and the local CDC office are tracking that. So we have, as of this morning, and today is September the 24th, 627 deaths, over 21,000 cases that have been confirmed, 22,000 that they haven't been confirmed. That's probable. I guess those are the testing that we're still waiting. And currently, as of today, 364 people hospitalized due to, or perhaps coronavirus, because they haven't been able to confirm for they're
Uh-huh.
hospitalized either with respiratory machines or just as a result of coronavirus. So there you have it. So those are the news for this week. Everything else, just tune into CNN or your local. We're not going to be a news uh, outlet. We're just basically sharing some of the things that expats might experience here on the island as a result of the coronavirus and things that you have asked for. So I remind you that if you like this video or any videos that you're watching, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get notified next time we upload a video. Um, Ask anything. If we don't know, we're trying to find out. Make any comments. We welcome any feedback. And hopefully this will be of help to you, especially those living here on the island, English speakers, and also those that will be relocating soon. That are there either in New York, Florida, Texas. I want to say hi to all those folks from even California. We have a couple people on Instagram there every day. They're giving thumbs up and giving the love, over Instagram. So I want to say hi to all of them. All right. Another question is, what's a grocery shopping here like? And this is basically because coming from the U.S., where things are readily available. We have the Costco's, we have the whatever local places for Sam's Club and all these big items. So I don't know. People might think that, oh, you're on an island, why are you eating coconuts and bananas every day? How does that work here?
Well, that's a very open-ended question for me because I was a more hardcore shopper when I was in the States. So I was a big couponer.
Oh.
And I was all about the stacking of the coupons and clipping them every week and looking at all the shoppers and advertisements of sales and whatnot, and then I did a route. So I carried that mentality here. Except for they don't accept coupons.
None of them.
They do accept coupons, but it's like it's so hard to find. And if you print out an online coupon, they're so like particular about it. So it's just like, why even bother? It's just like going through the government system. It's just like a whole, I guess, controversy when using coupons. I mean, I did freak out one time when they wouldn't accept a coupon, and that was like the last time. I was like, I'm sick of it. So what I do now is we have our basics that I do buy. So
Well,
I know
where do you buy?
that's the bulk items that I know are long-term storage, and that is at Costco.
Costco.
That's
so,
at
So we
Costco.
do have a local Costco, and we have Sam's Club as well.
Uh-huh.
And it's about half an hour from here, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's more like, with traffic, it's like 45 minutes.
Okay.
But they have the goods here are the same anywhere in any Costco, and they're great for buying things in bulk and long-term storage. And if you want to get certain fresh food items that are imported, like strawberries aren't local here, and some of the apples and stuff that they just seem to be fresher for some, because they have more of a turnover.
Well, by the way, and just so you know, we import 75% of what we eat here in Puerto Rico for obvious reasons. We're so small with 3 point some million dollars, which, by the way, if we have billions of dollars coming in, why we don't just give you $1 million per household? All of a sudden, the 3.5 million people are going to be rich, and there'll be no problems, right? But anyway, so Costco, well, we don't shop on Sam's Club.
No,
either.
no, no. But it's a good option to have. But I would, because Costco has a lot of organic items, and more unique items. I usually go there. But if you go to Sam's Club, they have more localized, specific items. Like they do have the blended sofrito, and more targeted towards the local Puerto Ricans. While Costco seems to be more targeted towards more Americanized diet,
Okay.
and a more organic diet or health conscious or whatever. But when it comes to the meats, Costco does have U.S. prices because they have to go through the USDA, and
Which is weird because, I mean, some of the best beef not necessarily are from the U.S. I mean, Argentina has very top of the
Oh my
line beef,
goodness.
and some other places in South America that really have good stuff. And even the cuts, sometimes they're even
better than
better,
the
better
ones you
quality in
get.
terms of, how aged they are, the cuts, how thick they are, how much you get for the money as well. So,
So I usually go to the local markets for that.
in local markets, like, for example, which
Oh,
ones?
it's whichever has the best price. So there's cycles, and you memorize the cycles depending on
Looking at the choppers.
looking at the shoppers, and eventually you kind of memorize, like, because I look at them so often weekly. You memorize
Which days?
what days and what meats, or and holidays are when you start hoarding, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas is when you hoard your big item, because meat prices like drop just drastically, and it's a wonderful thing because we have a huge chest freezer.
So technically, where I'm hearing is that if you move to Puerto Rico, plan to purchase chest freezers. And by the way, if you're moving in and
Oh
with all your
yeah.
stuff, make sure you buy them in the U.S. Those 8 feet or 10 feet chest freezers. That you
Oh
can put
yeah.
as much meat, as much stuff as you can. Obviously, make sure you have generator or,
Yeah,
or,
to keep them
or a
up just
solar
in
green just
case.
in case because electrical system here is not the most reliable. But just remember that. So if you're on the island and you want to start saving and you have a family, you want to buy in bulk once a month and begin learning the cycles, make sure you have a big chest freezers to put all that food.
Hmm. Ours has been a lifesaver.
What are the names of those local stores that you go to? Like Ralph's is
I go
one.
to Rouse and Econo the most.
Econo. Okay.
Econo, yeah. Actually, Econo is very good at getting hard to find items anywhere else. That's where sometimes I can find bok choy and daikon to make my kimchi. But since the pandemic, they haven't been importing it, and I haven't I need a kimchi fix, so I'm getting like the twitches.
So besides those two, we got
Oh, there's
Farm
Supermax.
Co-op.
Oh
Farm
yeah,
Co-op is
that's
another
down the
one.
street.
Amigo, I don't think they closed those, right? They used to be owned by Walmart, or they still
Oh,
have it. I can't remember.
the one near us closed. The one
Uh-huh.
near us and Loquillo, that one closed.
And you do have a lot of local places where, like, fruit stands. They give you more than fruits, they juices and stuff like that. If you want to
Oh
get
yeah.
local, like bananas. Again, 75% of it is imported, but you do get some local stuff here. And I believe we talk about the first few podcasts about organic
Or local
farming here.
farmers.
That
Uh-huh.
yes, it's great if you can find one. If you can have friends that have trees and they have too many stuff, just
Yeah, gift it to you.
right, just get those. But it's usually a lot more expensive, So it's sadly to say, but sometimes better just buy at the local market or the local super grocery store because it's
Yeah.
cheaper and you're probably getting the same thing. So,
Well, yeah, that's true.
but again, trying to support the local market, it's just sometimes hard, especially if you have a big family and you're trying to feed all that. It can get very expensive. So they don't accept coupons, or it's a hazard to get
It's
coupons.
they'll accept it. It's just
Uh-huh.
they make you jump through hoops and ladders for it, and cycles for the shoppers are really important. Knowing your local grocer, because sometimes you're able to not negotiate, but if you're there often enough, you can talk to the managers to see if they can get certain items that you really really want, as long as you buy it in bulk. So I do get all my Asian sauces and stuff from one local Asian grocery store here, and there's only two.
And
But
on the Thailand.
on the, I don't know about the
I
entire
mean, so far,
island,
yeah,
but so far that's all I
Well,
found
on the San Juan area.
in the San Juan area. And
Okay.
if you talk to her and you buy things in bulk, and which I do, I hoard all the Asian things. You're able to get the things that you need, like Thai soy sauces, Thai tamarind blocks. Palm sugar is hard to find here.
The noodles.
Noodles. I am a noodle fanatic, and so I buy boxes and boxes of rice noodles, egg noodles, the vermicelli noodles, mung bean noodles. Yeah, so Pedro's a noodle head now that I am.
I do like noodles a lot. So,
But
Yeah.
shopping here is basically cyclical, and you can get the most bang for your buck if you understand the cycles. So usually when I go shopping once a month, and I think the most I've spent is $500, and that's only if we have to replenish our dog food and our basic necessities like toilet paper and cleaning products.
right. For a family of 5.
For a family of 5.
And we do eat a lot, so.
And we share with others. I love cooking.
We always have people over,
Yeah,
so
so I
we
cook
always
for
have buy
everybody
extra. So.
that's here.
Uh-huh.
And so I think $500 a month at most is pretty good. And if it's not any of the bulk items, it's usually 300, 250 to 300, and that's with meats.
Well, that doesn't include alcohol, beers, and
meats,
wines,
yeah,
and so let's be clear on that.
we have a different budget for that.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into how much we spend on that, but yeah, that doesn't include.
And I like single barrel whiskey, and that's hard to find here. And so if you're willing to pay for it, you get it. But you have to pay for it.
So good. All right, guys, I want to keep it, again, we're not trying to keep this half an hour or so. You know, there might be times that we do go a little over, and if we have plenty to talk about. I remind you, send us your comment, questions, anything you want to know about living in shipping container homes, off the grid, living on the island.
Daily life.
Dealing with life here on the island again. Just any kind of information. I think we have answered a lot of them offline. Again, I'm not trying to repeat. If I see that somebody has a question about, hey, where do I get somebody to ship containers for me, because I'm not mechanical, I don't know how to weld. Well, you know, there's a local group called Casa Vagon Puerto Rico. Let's talk about that. You can ask them. A lot of people that are English speaking, and they post pictures and things like that. So they got Facebook groups. But again, that information I usually share it either on Facebook or on Instagram directly. So if you have any questions, shoot me. I'm trying to check at least once a day. You know, go through all the questions and comments with coffee in hand or beer in hand. So. And that's it for today. So thank you so much. We appreciate it for the support. Again, continue to share this with your friends and family. And if I don't talk to you online or see you or post anything until next week, well, see you next week. Please stay safe. Bye.